This episode of Boss Fight is brought to you by One-Sided Coin. How does that even work? Help! I need saving.
Serenity tried to mind control me?
Actually, she tried to kill you.
Your father loves you, Poppet, but he's too overprotective.
I want to be the playable character, a champion, a hero.
Hooray!
And look, SJW, Anne left your location in the box. I can rescue you now.
Hooray!
Once I re-coordinate my whole outfit with my new crown.
The Sparkle Gem! This is getting sparkle silly. Time to wake up!
Welcome to episode 3 of Boss Fight. I'm Leanna Kersner, and this is the alien technology that puts the ace in space, Glowy Box. Boss Fight is a show devoted to busting myths and bringing you the truth about video games and the people who love them. This episode, we're looking at the myth that games cause or encourage violence, sexism, and other dangerous or antisocial behaviors. Wow, this is a topic I'm sure the social justice warrior would love. I wonder how he's doing.
No.
Princess Sparkle Muffin, not to seem privileged or mansplaining, but you did say you were going to rescue me, and I feel that it has been a
I
while.
already have a headpiece. No. Oh, sorry, social justice warrior. Listen, this new crown, it didn't match my old outfit at all. Besides, if I'm going to be a playable character, I need a redesign.
The old outfit did convey conventional gender rules.
What do you mean?
You know, the patriarchy.
I don't get it.
You don't know what the patriarchy is?
Well, of course I know what patriarchy is. My father is King Toasty Bear Claw. I just don't know how it applies here.
How can it be that you are not woke?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because Serenity Sunflower's spores knocked me out. Did you know she was trying to kill me? I just ended up with a funny taste in my mouth because I have superpowers. Apparently I had them all along. I just didn't know.
Huzzah! You have embraced your power!
Right, which is why I need you to be captured for just a little bit longer, okay? It's real easy. Just cry for help and befriend animals from your prison cell, okay? Sparkle out!
Help? Help? Help! Someone save me! Help! I am captured! Oh, this is therapeutic. Help! Help!
Nice.
Help! Help!
What? Hey, why are you here?
Oh, greetings, person who clearly rejects the beauty myth, which I respect. Can you please untie me?
Bye. Go untie. Go untie. Yeah.
Sometimes the most oppressive bonds are the ones you can't see.
Right. You, strange. You eat? You need eat.
Answer carefully. It's spider stew today.
Is it vegan?
Vegan spiders. Vegan spiders?
Warning, containment breach. Subject, MK Ultra, uncontained. Warning.
Mass
Warning.
incarceration!
Containment breach.
Surveillance state!
Centralization.
Privacy rights!
Complete.
Warning.
Warning.
Wait,
Containment breach.
is social justice
Subject,
for or
MK
against
Ultra,
privacy rights this
uncontained.
week?
Warning. Containment breach. Yes, go.
Alexa, shut face.
Whew. Subject MK Ultra?
Your guide to Project MK Ultra.
Oh, Princess Sparkle Muffin did say to befriend furry animals?
Shush.
Okay, so we've got a terrifying furry boss this episode, but don't worry, watching this show won't make you a furry any more than video games will make you violent or sexist. This episode's myth might be the most personally frustrating one for me because it's entirely against established science. No matter how much money the US government has thrown in the last 2 decades at trying to find a link between video games and violence, there isn't any evidence of a link. The same thing is happening regarding sexism in video games, which makes sense since the process should be exactly the same. That should be it. Done. Science says no link. But high-profile politicians like President-elect Joe Biden still continue to promote the idea that it is not healthy to have these games teaching the kids the dispassionate notion that you can shoot somebody and just, sort of blow their brains out. That's a quote from Joe Biden from August of 2019, after the El Paso shootings. President Donald Trump, should I say outgoing President Donald Trump, in the same time frame said, gruesome and grisly video games make it easy for troubled youth to surround themselves with a culture that celebrates violence. Note that both of these men engaged in a back and forth that involved violent metaphors, like Biden saying, if we were in high school, I'd like to take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. And we don't have time to get into how many times Trump engaged in violent metaphors. He's even been accused of directly inciting violence. But Trump is Trump. He says stupid things about pretty much everything, and even a lot of his supporters will tell you that. And his ability to really mess things up is coming to an end. Though his censorious cancel culture tendencies may continue wherever he ends up with his 89 million-ish Twitter followers hanging on his every tweet. Biden is a bigger concern at the moment as the incoming president. Though he listens to the science on things like COVID-19, he has a lengthy anti-video game track record that ignores the best scientific evidence we have surrounding video games. Joe Biden was Obama's point man in lumping the video game industry with the NRA and gun manufacturers regarding mass shootings as far back as 2013. This was after Obama was gifted with a copy of The Witcher 2 by the government of Poland, which Obama later admitted he never played. During Obama's administration, Biden took point on meetings with the video game industry, doctors, researchers, and experts on gun violence. And thanks to Obama's call for more research into the subject, there was an explosion in studies that showed no link between violent video games and violent real-life behavior. Biden knows this, but as recently as January 2020, he still insisted that video games teach you how to kill people. I don't know how else to say this. This is just false, and it's not harmless. Though video games are protected speech, the false claims about video games and violence are an impediment to things like reasonable gun control, a functioning mental health system, and issues of marginalization. Politicians of all parties blame video games for society's ills because that's easier than actually doing something about the underlying causes of gun and any other kind of violence. But, okay, you may really want to give Joe Biden a pass, partially because some people think he's too old to even okay boomer. But other politicians, who we reasonably hope should know better, also bash games. In 2015, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau singled out video games misogyny in popular culture, whatever that means. This was, of course, before he was outed for being photographed in blackface, brownface, whatever you call this. Strangely, he didn't blame Disney movies for his decision to dress up as a version of Aladdin fresh off a shift in a coal mine. Yikes. Trudeau clearly doesn't always have the best judgment, but he's also a notable fan of sci-fi. He's been to Comic-Cons. He cosplays. Not that kind of cosplay. This kind. Right. Basically, he knows better. He and other politicians throw video games under the bus to ingratiate themselves to suburban moms with college degrees. These moms believe that video games are dangerous because they don't play them, and those suburban moms are an important group of swing voters. Facts? Who cares about facts? Facts don't get you votes in modern politics. So, in order to get politicians to stop saying these stupid things regarding video games, we need to educate moms and dads that video games aren't going to make their kids into ass-grabbing mass shooters. This is an uphill battle, but we have to try because while many parents find video games to be scary or brain-rotting time wasters, for most kids, video games are totally normalized. According to Pew Research, as of 2017, 97% of teenage boys and 83% of teenage girls play video games. 92% of boys and 75% of girls own a video game console. So video games clearly don't turn teenagers into monsters. But for hate groups looking to recruit lonely, disaffected teens, video game communities are a target-rich environment. Which means if you really, truly want to combat hate-based violence, you have to embrace video games. We know that teens don't trust adults that don't seem to remotely understand what they like. And worse, dump on the stuff that they like. When you make video games into some sort of evil thing, young people who like video games are going to think you are less smart and trustworthy than the white supremacists trying to recruit them through Discord. That's a messaging service, not just the general idea of Discord. If you don't know what things like Discord are, that vulnerable teenager is going to listen to the modern-day Klansmen instead of you because they don't think you're listening to them.
You're not listening to me.
Yes, I am. I'm just shaking in terror.
Okay then, what did I just say?
The terror has made me forget.
You're supposed to be some kind of warrior. Why are you so scared?
There is a giant, genetically engineered monster on the loose. Why aren't you more scared?
Because I know no fear. Because this is a video game. And in video games, you must find the monster's weakness to learn how to defeat it.
Someone say eat it?
No, Baba Yaga! Defeat it!
What is but feet?
Too many magical blasts. She's hard of hearing.
Heh, I hear that!
Okay, how do we find the monster's weakness so we can defeat it? Oh.
Your guide to Project MK Ultra, hosted by me, Serenity Sunflower. After the do-nothing US government failed in the 1990s to show that video games like Doom and Mortal Kombat cause violence, Nice Labs, formerly known as Project Parasol, decided to show video games were bad by creating characters similar to those seen in video games. After the US government failed again in 2013 to show that games like Doom and Call of Duty cause violence, and budget sequestrations cause funding shortages in the Department of Defense, Project Parasol was repurposed to create an affordable, controllable army against foreign and domestic terrorists, gang violence, and hate groups without harm to the civilian population. The result was Project MK Ultra, after the ultraviolet game Mortal Kombat. Around this time, some bureaucrat pointed out that there was already something called MK Ultra, so NICE requested those files. Turns out that this MK Ultra had nothing to do with Mortal Kombat, but contained many excellent ideas regarding education of test subjects. Despite setbacks, NICE created its first successful prototype in 2020, after yet more government failures to prove video games cause violence and/or sexism in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019, and after NICE scientists refused to watch any more videos featuring President Donald Trump.
A principled stance?
This prototype was the product of splicing DNA connected from military test subjects combined with rainbows, lollipops, and the only substance proven to be universally beloved, internet cats.
I love internet cats!
Well, everybody does.
They named this prototype Shao Kahn. While Shao Kahn's clockwork rainbows conditioning was mostly successful, two problematic elements remained. One was an unbreakable fascination with the video game Mortal Kombat, from which Shao Kahn chose its name. The other was a rage trigger connected to any reference to the word orange. It is unknown whether this is due to its clockwork orange style conditioning or an implicit bias created by a team of scientists comprised of never-Trump Republicans. At any rate, do not say the word orange in Shao Kahn's presence. If exposed to this trigger word, Shao Kahn can only be pacified with kittens and Neapolitan ice cream.
Ew!
Oops, was that flavor shaming?
A useful side effect of Shao Kahn's love of Mortal Kombat has been an affinity for the tactics of final boss Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn's single goal is to bring Earth under a new domain of peace, love, and eternal friendship. Unfortunately, early attempts to talk it out in pursuit of that goal proved fruitless. Due to Shao Kahn's feline DNA, its speech is limited, and it was quickly banned on Twitter when a selfie was flagged as furry pornography. In truth, this was Twitter complying with a nice cease and desist order to keep its top secret project top secret. This left only one tactic of last resort: violence. But Shao Kahn was conditioned to be opposed to violence. However, it reasons since Liu Kang and his friends saved Earthrealm through violence, then violence is okay as long as it is punching up.
Something seems not quite right about that. But, so, this Shao Kahn's strength seems to be being triggered, which I can relate to. Their weaknesses seem to be kittens and Neapolitan ice cream. Do we have any of those?
I'll go check. In the meantime, you go find some weapons. The lockup is down the hall. Password is nice.
Nice. That's rather weak password security.
Don't ask me. I just work here.
Okay, boy, enough time talk. Come. Come.
Mommy!
No, come.
So, what does make someone violent? Or sexist? Or racist? Well, the biggest factor is environment, the example you're given by other people in your family, friends, school, or work group. For people who don't have strong social ties, media can be an influence, but media doesn't override direct human-to-human relationships. To put it simply, if you notice someone changing in negative ways after they've been playing video games, it's less likely that it's because of the video games themselves, and more likely because of the people they've been playing video games with. But be careful, because according to some studies, video games are the most positive form of screen time precisely because of those social connections. This suggests that video game friends are friends, like school friends or work friends. Some are good influences, some aren't, and it takes time and effective listening to know the difference. The extra challenge with gamers is a lot of us are introverts or on the autism spectrum, meaning we're less likely to be open about something bothering us, and we may not have the words to directly describe how we're feeling. Listening to us talk about our favorite games facilitates communication, kind of like that Darmok episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. If you don't get that reference, it's because you've never watched Star Trek: The Next Generation. And if you don't know anything about video games, you're missing out on shared metaphors that can communicate important stuff. Kind of the way most of us don't understand half of what the social justice warrior is saying. I wonder if he's been eaten by that monster yet.
All right. The nice young man said find weapons. Here's the weapons. Okay, we have nice weapons and, not nice weapons and, very not nice weapons that look dangerous and, oh no, problematic weapons. Wait. That's my old sword. What's this doing here? Oh, no!
Triggered!
I wasn't always a lone social justice warrior. I used to fight for social justice with my comrades, the social justice cleric, who was a silent playable character because they were agnostic, the social justice bard, Ian, who called himself the social justice minstrel before he got woke, and the sorceress Zarkazan, the social justice mage. Together, we battled injustices wherever we saw them, until we realized that some of the greatest social injustices were within our own ranks. A young tavern wench accused Ian of sliding into her DMs. Another quickly cried out, "Me too!" We listened and believed, and had to cancel him. By this time, Zarkazan and I were in a state of mutual and ongoing consent, so I let her inspect my sword. It was a sword given to me the day I became a warrior, a sword which bore the symbol of my culture. Its symmetry was perfectly balanced and a symbol of equality, and also an X, which represented my gender identity at the time as neither male nor female. But Zarkazan told me that this was just warrior privilege blinding me. My sword hilt was a crucifix, a symbol of oppressive colonial oppression. This may sound redundant, but using oppressed as an adjective and a noun just shows that it's extra oppressive. Zarkazan took my sword away and gave me another one, assuring me that it was checking my privilege. Of course, I listened and believed this too. No woman would take away a non-binary person's sword unless she really cared about them, right? To my secret shame, I've always had doubts. That sword was a part of who I was. It validated my identity. By the time Zarkazan ended our consent contract because I adopted a defined male identity, I didn't know what I was fighting for anymore. We'd taken over the mage rights activist citadel Fortress. I had an army of white knights. But Fortress was an echo chamber, and once Zarkazan had control over it, there was no need for warriors because it was a safe space, and I wasn't allowed in her safe space because now that I was trans, I was a white straight male. It was only through constant privilege self-checks that I avoided being cancelled. My outrage became only surface. What was the point of it all? Why were we doing this? The heterosexual white knights just wanted non-sexual positive attention from females. The LGBTQ2IA+ white knights were using Zarkazan's work portals to collect Nana Mouskouri albums and box sets of the Golden Girls. We didn't even care about the problematic element of calling postmenopausal women girls. And now I'm thinking about Lena Dunham in her late 60s. Triggered.
So, since there's absolutely no evidence that video games make you sexist, violent, or anything else antisocial, where is this persistent, annoying myth about video games come from? In short, people look for things to blame for very scary things, and they usually falsely blame things that seem easy to fix, while the real root causes of violence and hate are complex and take time to solve. This is a pattern repeated throughout history. While many parents today are thrilled if their kids read any books at all, there was a time when certain books had the same dangerous status that video games do now. The book The Catcher in the Rye was linked to the murders of John Lennon and Rebecca Schaeffer and the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan. Between 1961 and 1982, The Catcher in the Rye was the most censored book in American schools because of its themes of teenage rebellion and possibly the farting in the church scene. I like that one. But this just created a Streisand effect, a phenomenon when an attempt to hide, remove, or censor information ends up causing that information to spread everywhere because people got mad about the censorship. There were waiting lists at libraries to read The Catcher in the Rye because of the controversy. The phenomenon around the Grand Theft Auto franchise is similar. Disaffected youth love the series because its open-world gameplay creates a sense of freedom, but also because pearl-clutching adults hate it. Like The Catcher in the Rye, Grand Theft Auto was implicated in a series of violent crimes. But correlation, or even inspiration, is not causation. Most people who play video games know that games aren't real. In fact, most people would be horrified if the events of Grand Theft Auto 5 played out in front of them in real life. Grand Theft Auto is one of the best-selling video game franchises ever, played by tens of millions of people. But during Grand Theft Auto's rise in popularity, violent crime trends fell. So it's pretty obvious that video games don't cause violence if people would stop getting triggered and losing their critical thinking. Video games don't hijack someone's free will, and when you act like they do, you're just risking pushing that person away. At this point, insisting that video games are responsible for the ills of our society is just a form of mass gaslighting of gamers, and this can cause damage to the relationships that you have with gamers, as well as damage to a gamer's mental health.
much. Reunited with my sword, I wondered what it meant. Had I been living a lie since I gave it up? Had I been a victim of gaslighting? Why was I narrating myself in the past tense? It all made me question my entire fight for social justice. Was it worth it? Was it real? Or was it just another manifestation of privilege that I should give up? Was I no better than the hundreds of mates' rights activists that I'd vanquished?
I am outraged! Outraged! I think those weapons are rated M for mature.
Yes, sir, beat me later. Right now.
Have you considered a career in social justice?
No, never will.
Did you get the kittens in Neapolitan ice cream?
Ice cream, yes. Kittens, no. Nice has a no pets policy.
Those monsters!
Tell me about it. No way to butcher this thing.
There is no need for violence, teacher. I understand how it feels to have your identity torn down, leaving you feeling like only a tool in a larger fight, leaving you feeling triggered. What?
Whatever you do, don't say.
Don't say what?
Don't say.
Don't. What? You are being ableist. For all we know, our friend here is hearing impaired and can't hear you say orange.
Social justice, you a jerk!
I forgot that was the trigger word.
I just told you!
I'm here!
Princess Sparkle Muffin! You're extra sparkly!
Thanks! I got it on Princessy. Do you think the cuffs are too much? I think the cuffs are too much. You know, other princesses are into shorts right now, but I am a fashion iconoclast. Right, Princess Sparkle Kitty?
A free-thinking woman is my kind of social justice. Plus, buying vintage leaves a smaller carbon footprint.
What? Very large and thick monster. Oh, you want the kitty? Okay, ready? You ready? Okay. Okay, here we go.
Ow! That was excellent punching up.
Aw, that's so cute. Does this mean we won?
You won, Princess Sparkle Muffin.
Oh no, it was a team effort. Although I don't think Shellkind belongs in nice. I think Team Sparkle needs more furries.
Does Team Sparkle need a frequently outraged warrior with vasovagal syncope?
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Huzzah! You have my sword! Well, figuratively, I just got it back.
I don't need to see your sword.
Huzzah!
But what about us?
Ta-da! You have Xbox Live, yes? Oh, I shouldn't make the same mistakes my parents did. Okay, we'll find adventures for everyone. But first, can we get a pic for the gram? Haha!
Does this count for homeschool credits?
I think so. Everybody sparkle!
Oh,
And we're officially good guys 3, nice guys 0. Myth busted. Games don't make you violent. Games don't make you sexist. Games don't make you antisocial. Games just let you have fun and challenge yourself in ways that make you feel good. If you like this series, consider supporting me on Patreon or drop a one-time donation on PayPal to funetworktv@gmail.com. Or you can buy Boss Fight merchandise at funetwork.tv. Next episode, we'll look at the myth, video games rot your brain. There's nothing worthwhile about playing video games aren't art, and all screen time is bad for kids and teens. And I'm not sure how this show is going to get any weirder, but I'm sure they will. Until then, I'm Leanna Kersner, and this has been Boss Fight. Don't hate the player, just play games.
Down and the nights are long. It's time to get your gaming on. 'Cause baby, it's so cold outside. There's warmth in playing on PS5 or Xbox, whatever. Get on your Switch so we can play together. iPad, tabs, or Android phones. The PC Master Race will own. Christmas season, it comes once a year. Some have families who are very dear. But for the rest of us, it's grievances of Festivus. There's a better way to spend your time. Just press start on Christmas time this year. The reason that games come out now is to save us from the social rows. When Uncle Joe tells drunken jokes and Cousin Doug steals and Jill smokes, then they wonder why you're in your room, quiet solitude, just playing Doom. Socialization is overrated. Download your Christmas cheer. Just press start on Christmas time this year. Spider-Man Miles, Cyberpunk Trials, Valhalla Vikings cheer. Just press start on Christmas time this year. Greetings, mere mortals. It is I, your feline overlord, Mephisto. Because of this season of peace and joy, we did our best to distract the human to stop her from saying, "I hate The Sims!" Well, it almost worked.